So now that I have my perspective sketch, a rough sketch, pencil sketch, I'm going to take some graphite pencil with no wood on it, so it's all the middle graphite pencil material. And I have a 4B here pencil, and this one is an 8B, which is extremely soft. The standard number 2 pencil is an HB, and then I use many different pencils. This is a B with the standard wood on there. Check the other videos about that are out there for line weight and pencil softness. But we have a 4B here that I'm just going to start with to give this a little bit of shading, because right now it's awfully bland. And a choice that I need to make is, where is the light going to come from? And something that's helpful is on your paper, I'm going to draw it up here out of the way, is to have a direction of light that you wish to portray. So I'm going to have the light coming in through the window. So I'm going to draw a little arrow like that saying that it's coming this way, and I have to keep in mind that it's a backlight, because you can't tell on the paper whether it's behind or in front. So there's going to be some light coming through the window. So there's going to be highlights here, there's going to be shadow on the floor here, and this area is going to be a bit darker. There's going to be light in the other room coming in through there. And something that you may have noticed when you look at your windows around you is that the wall around the window appears to be darker than the rest of the room. It has to do with light balance and how your eyes are seeing the light coming through the window, and how this turns into some slightly negative space. So I'm just going to do a little bit of shading to darken here and above the top of the wall here, because up near the ceiling is always darker than near the floor. So I'm going to add some shade to everything here, just to lay in a little bit of shade, just to get us started. The back of the chair is going to be pretty dark. I'm going to press a little bit harder here. A nice technique is to use your finger your fingernail to guide the pencil along the line that you don't want to pass. Coloring in the lines, if you will. This side's not going to be as dark as the back. So now that I've colored that in, it's almost even, so now I have to go in and make that a little bit darker. Some places you don't care about the keeping within the lines, because behind the chair is going to need a shadow. Matter of fact, I'll just draw that shadow. If the window's coming here, the shadow is probably going to be something in line with that. Okay. And then underneath the chair is going to be getting very dark. So I'm going to switch from my 4B pencil to my 8B, which is even darker, and stick some shadow underneath this chair. There we go. We'll shade the front. Back to my 4B pencil of our bureau, and some shadow. Let's see, it's going to come down like this, it's going to hit the top of that, and it's going to make basically a shape, something like this, coming out and across, and the light's going to come over like this and hit the floor. Now we don't want to color in the top of his arm. Remember, we can always attack it with an eraser later on. The light's going to come down and hit there, so there's going to be probably a sort of a line like this, and maybe this will extend a little bit further out. And then along this line, well, the light's coming in through the window, so it's not hitting the wall. It can't curve around. There is a little reflective quality from that, but there will definitely be a shading around the window itself. We're going to blend this in a minute, but the surfaces of this are going to be much brighter, with the exception of right next to it, but it's still going to be brighter than the rest of the room, because that's where the light is closest to. This is theater, so since it's theater, we need to remember that we're probably not going to light up the other room nearly as brightly as we're going to light up our main acting area. So we do take liberties. So this other room's probably darker, but we do need to keep that window lighter because there's a certain amount of disbelief we're asking the audience to give us. But I'm not doing that here in this particular sketch. I also have something here called a blending stick, which is basically rolled up paper. Smooth things out. You can use a piece of paper towel, and it blends these areas nicely. Makes things a little bit more gentle. Now the rest of the floor is not just going to be white, so I'm just going to use the blending stick to take this out because now the blending stick's dirty. But you'll notice that we still have the definite shape of the shadows there. We still have this highlights around the TV. I'm going to make sure I have some low lights here on this side of this frame because it's going to cast a slight shadow. See how this gives it a little bit more definition and brings it out from the wall? This is all lighting. Definition there. And these windows are going to cast light. It's going to bounce off the floor and come in. So the top of this is actually going to have a shadow on above the frame ever so slightly. There won't be a shadow over here though because the light's coming in from that way. I'll just darken this. There we go. Okay. So underneath this cabinet, we made this bureau off the floor. I'm going to give it a little bit of a height, give it a leg in the middle. This makes it a little bit more believable. So this is basically giving some definition and some shading to our sketch. There's a whole lot of white area up here which is a little disconcerting, and I'm going to, what do we see over this? If we want to see a background or stuff, that's fine. But I'm going to black it out because we're going to mask back there. We're going to put masking flats behind the windows so there's something to look out there. But above the set, I've decided that I just want to have this be a void of nothingness. So this is actually going to get some darkness. And for this side, I'm going to use a straight edge to keep myself from breaking the set line with my pencil. I think that this is going to make our set pop. Also take our blending stick and make this disappear more into the background. And now I'm getting a reflection over here from my desk light. It's a little better. Graphite is actually very shiny. And down here we want to sort of blend this into the floor. Because the transition from light to dark here at the edges of the stage up to the lighting designer with a nice soft focused light is not going to be a hard line most likely if this is how we're having our set, just freestanding and we can see masking behind it. Okay, they're probably going to have the lights focused to this central area here. Just a little more. And so now we've added some shading to our scenery.